Well, here in week 3, we are focusing on a single text, book 1 of Aristotle's Nicomachean and Ethics, which I will probably just call the Ethics. It's just a textual matter. There is a couple of texts. This one's called Nicomachean and Ethics because he wrote it for Nicomachus, I guess, but we'll just call it the Ethics. Thinking back to our questions, our guiding questions: what am I? What can I know? What can I hope for? In a certain sense, all of our texts touch on all of those questions, but again, emphasis falls on one or the other depending upon the nature of the text. I would say that if we're going to take those questions as a guide, there's nothing wrong with it. That it's the first and third questions: what am I, and what can I hope for? In a certain respect, that this text is concerned with. This is moral philosophy. It's philosophy that is explicitly dealing with, you might say, how you're supposed to live your life. What is the good? That was the real question. In modern moral philosophy, we think about questions like what is the foundation of morality? What is it that makes a particular act right or wrong? What are my duties? How do I decide in any given case what the right thing to do is? Questions like that, which are not unfamiliar to the Greeks, but they tended to see the matter of ethics in terms of a single question, and that is, what is the good? And that was usually conceived of in terms of how you're supposed to live your life, what kind of life you were supposed to live. The Greeks, really we're talking about mostly the Athenians, but the Greeks in general saw that there were different choices. And those different choices were about what you considered to be the highest good. And there were different candidates for what was the highest good. Was it pleasure, wealth, power? Was it fame and accomplishment? Or was it knowledge, understanding? I guess there are different choices, but those were kind of the main ones. The life of pleasure, the life of honor, or the life of knowledge were the three main candidates for what you were supposed to base your life on, what you considered to be the highest good. So that really is the question: what is the good? What is the good for a human being? How do we ask such a question? What kind of answer can we expect, considering the variety of types of human beings? Well, as we'll see, and it's not really giving the thing away because it's such a general answer, but the highest good for a human being, that is, you might say, what can a human being hope for? Because certainly Aristotle was not concerned with anything like an afterlife or any kind of, he wasn't really seriously considering the possibility of immortality. He's talking about earthly life. Like, what can we hope for here and now? What can I hope for? What can I hope to make my life of? Or what can I hope to make out of my life? The general answer is happiness. That is, he sees it as a kind of a truism, as kind of too obvious even to mention, perhaps, that every human being tries to achieve something like happiness with their life. But that answer, however obvious, leads to just more questions, the most obvious of which is, what is happiness? Can we nail down something specific as true human happiness? Again, considering the great variety within the human beings. So this is the introduction to a much longer book, but I think really does set out the questions and, to a certain degree, the answers in terms of what it is that we can hope for in this world, in this life, with my life. What should I do with my life, and how would I come to answer such a question?